Imagine waking up on a Wednesday morning, going about your day, completely unaware of the lurking danger. This unknown individual strikes every Wednesday, leaving a trail of confusion and fear in their wake. Welcome to today's video, where we delve into the mysterious case of the Wednesday Strangler. Between 1975 and 1989, 7 women were murdered in Saga Prefecture, located on Kyushu, the westernmost of Japan's main islands. This series of incidents, known as the Saga 7-woman serial murder case, remains shrouded in mystery due to the scarcity of credible information available online, even in Japanese. Despite the challenges, these victims' stories deserve to be remembered. During this period, 7 women were murdered within a 20-kilometer radius, encompassing towns like Kitagata, Shiroeshi, and Kitoshigeosu. Key aspects of these tragic events include 6 of the 7 victims disappeared on Wednesdays. Most disappearances occurred in the evening or at night. 5 of the victims were strangled, while the causes of death for the remaining 2 could not be determined due to the advanced state of decay upon discovery. A decomposing body was found in the septic tank of one of the student restrooms at an elementary school on June 24, 1980. Skeletonized remains of another victim were found 3 days later at the same elementary school in the toilet for the pool on the west side, which, according to some sources, was covered over with small rocks. However, other sources stated both bodies were found inside tanks. The first set of remains belonged to a 20-year-old victim who disappeared on April 12. The tank she was found in had been emptied 2 months before, and it is thought she had been disposed of immediately after her disappearance. That victim had already attempted suicide twice before, and had told people she planned to commit suicide when she turned 20, which was the day after she disappeared. On April 16th, her father received a note saying something like, "Your daughter probably won't come back. I hope you suffer too." He later received a number of phone calls telling him not to appear on a TV show featuring people who disappeared or show her picture. The second set of remains, which had been found as a skeleton, belonged to a 12-year-old girl. It was said that she usually sat and studied at the clue bar her mother managed. But on the day of her disappearance, she had been at home. The TV was still on when her family returned home, and the shoes she had been wearing were still there. But there was no sign of the girl. A woman whose parents lived next door to the girl later called the police claiming she had seen a man pushing the victim into a vehicle. The woman said she couldn't give her name because it would then be known that she had returned to her parents' home, and she would get into trouble for it, presumably with her husband. A farm worker, was later arrested for these 2 murders. He had been a regular customer at the cafe the first victim worked at, and had lived with her older sister with the intent of marrying the sister, but had been unable to because her family opposed the idea. There were rumors he had been dating the victim, and was the reason she was struggling with some problem. He had also been a regular at a club the second victim's mother worked at. He was later released due to a lack of evidence. Both victims were home alone when they disappeared. Nothing else was taken from either home, and there was no sign of a struggle, indicating that they knew the perpetrator. The third victim was a 27-year-old housewife and factory worker. She had been seen by a coworker talking to a man in his 30s who was sitting in a car. Her body was later found in a vacant lot, strangled with a power cord. There was no sign of sexual assault. The fourth victim was an 11-year-old girl. Her body was found nude from the waist down, and she still had her randosru, a type of backpack, strapped to her back. Witnesses claimed to have seen a suspicious-looking man in a car right before the girl was murdered. A woman at a bus stop stated that a man in his 30s or 40s, driving a white car, had persistently attempted to get her into his vehicle by offering a ride. but she refused. Later that day, a man in a white car had grabbed an elementary school student and taken her off to a public restroom, but let her go after she started crying and fussing. A man in a white car was also seen talking to 2 elementary school students and later to 3 other elementary students. Those students said the man offered to show them pictures of the popular girl singing duo Pink Lady. Witnesses supplied police with a partial license plate number that had Fukuoka and 6950, a description of the vehicle as possibly being one of 3 different models, and a description of the man and what he was wearing, a sweatshirt and blue pants. Even with this information, police were never able to identify him. Due to the proximity to where the previous victim was found, police believe the same man killed both this victim and the previous victim, the 27-year-old. The first of the 3 last victims, found together at the bottom of a cliff, had been at home eating dinner with her mother and son when she received a phone call that got her all worked up. She told her mother that she had to give a friend a ride, but for some reason told her son that she was going to eat dinner with a friend. Her car was later found in the parking lot of a bowling alley. She had worked at the same factory as the 27-year-old factory worker who had been found strangled. The second of the 3 last victims had left her house to play volleyball at a sports center located 10 minutes away on foot. She usually went with another woman, but the other woman couldn't go that day, so she went alone. This victim had been seen talking to a woman in a car, but police could never determine who that woman was. The last victim had gone drinking with a coworker and disappeared on her way home. Not much else is known about her. The ages of the first 4 victims ranged from 11 to 27, while those of the last 3 ranged from 37 to 50, leading some to believe the murders were committed by different people. It's also possible that one person killed the first 2 victims, another person killed the next 2, and a third person killed the last 3. On January 27, 1989, a couple driving near a wooded mountain ridge in Kitagata, Kashima District, Saga Prefecture, alerted authorities upon discovering the remains of 3 women at the base of a cliff. The victims were identified as Sumiko Fujise, Kiyomi Nakajima, and Tatsuda Yoshino. Various personal items belonging to the victims were scattered across a 2-kilometer area surrounding the discovery site. In November of the same year, a 26-year-old man, already incarcerated on unrelated charges, confessed in writing to the murders during a routine inquiry, only to recant shortly afterward. Subsequently, on June 11, 2002, the Saga Prefectural Police charged another man, serving time in Kagoshima prison for Yoshino's murder, with charges related to Fujise and Nakajima following on July 2nd and 9, respectively. Despite the prosecution's initial pursuit of the death penalty, when the trial commenced on October 22nd of the same year, it concluded on April 10, 2005, with an acquittal due to insufficient evidence and the disputed nature of the suspect's written confession, which was alleged to have been coerced. Following an appeal by prosecutors, the Fukuoka High Court upheld the acquittal on March 19, 2007, citing the absence of compelling new evidence from mitochondrial DNA testing submitted by the prosecution. Furthermore, the Saga police faced criticism for prolonged detention practices and procedural irregularities during the investigation. With the prosecutor's decision not to pursue further appeals by March 29, 2007, the defendant was formally cleared of all charges. Consequently, all 7 murders remain officially unresolved. Journalist Tomohiko Suzuki wrote about this and other cases in his recent book, Suzuki Tomohiko, no Geki Yaba Chitai Sen Yuki. You can also read his tweets through the link provided in the description. There exists a transcript of the phone call Mr. Nakajima received after his wife went missing, recorded by a police investigator who was listening in. Here's a translation of the transcript.
Hello, This is Nakajima.
Your wife was found, wasn't she?
Huh?
That's nice.
Just where in the world was she found?
Wasn't it in Yakigome?
Who is this speaking?
A person you know.
This phone call took place a week after the sixth victim, presumably Mrs. Nakajima, went missing. In one of his tweets, journalist Tomohiko Suzuki stated that he had obtained a threatening letter sent to a certain place after the disappearances. The police were never informed of this letter. Mr. Suzuki also mentioned that he had acquired samples of the handwriting of the person he believed responsible from work records and was trying to compare it to the letter. This tweet was from July 2016. While it is unclear if he's made any progress, he believes the person is probably still alive. As we come to the end of this video journey, I want to take a moment to thank you for sticking around and watching till the very end. A whopping 98% of you watching right now are not subscribed to my channel, so please consider subscribing to my channel. Your support is what keeps this channel going and growing. Together, we can make this journey even more exciting and fun. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.